Hello lovely people and welcome back to this week's new video. Today I am back with another episode in my Smash or Pass series in which I read booktubers' favorite books. Today I am featuring the one and the only Ellias. I think Ellias is hilarious, but I had never really found that we read a lot of the same books, so I was curious as to see how this would go. If you're new here, hi, my name is Noah. I'm a bookish and lifestyle vlogger, born and raised and still based in New York City, so if that sounds like of any interest to you, I would absolutely love if you could stick around and subscribe at the end if you so please. I made sure to practice before I did this because last video it was a mess. In attempting to find Elias's favorite books, I obviously watched like his favorite books of the year videos. I think he had a video like called like his all-time favorites or something like that, and I think recent favorites. Hopefully these are somewhat accurate. I also decided to wear a crew neck. I feel like Elias always decides to dress really comfy, so something comfy, cozy, really chill. As it usually goes, I'm picking a booktuber and reading their favorite five of their favorite books. I have 3 that I own and 2 that I borrowed from the library. I had heard many a beautiful thing about this. I've realized that Elias really likes beautiful writing, and as a poet, Vuong has that down. This book is a letter from a son to his mother, the son being a little dog who is writing to his illiterate mother. He's going through the whole family's history, and it says, "This is also a brutally honest exploration of race, class, masculinity in our current American moment, immersed as we are in addiction, violence, and trauma, but undergirded by compassion and tenderness." It's not very long. It was not only my first read of this video, but also my very first read of the year. I have a dog on my lap. I think I'm over halfway through with this, and it's taking me a little bit too long. I mean, I've been reading this since the 1st of January, and it's now January 5th. It's slow. I mean, it's very poetic. I know that Vuong is a poet. I don't know where the story's going. I wouldn't really mind a story like that, but I don't feel that much of a connection to Little Dog, that I just don't really see myself enjoying a lot of this book. I don't think that I did an end clip for this one because I just like really couldn't get into it. I had a conversation with someone about this who agreed, and I have actually read and listened to one of his poems that I found absolutely beautiful, and I think it works better for me in that format. I can agree that the writing is very beautiful, but just as a whole of a story, it didn't work for me, and I ended up giving this one 2 stars. Going into this, didn't really know what this was about. I had seen it around on BookTube. It was also a book of the month pick as well. This I'm taking from Goodreads. Vivek was raised by a distant father and an overprotective mother, and he suffers from disorienting blackouts and moments of disconnection between self and surroundings. So this follows him from adolescence to adulthood. He creates friendships with the warm and boisterous daughters of the Niger wives, foreign-born women married to Nigerian men. But Vivek's closest bond is with Osita, the worldly, high-spirited cousin whose teasing confidence masks a guarded, private life. As their relationship deepens and Osita struggles to understand Vivek's escalating crisis, the mystery gives way to a heart-stopping act of violence in a moment of exhilarating freedom. Koda's asleep and I'm in the bathroom, but I'm not enjoying this. I'm only 50 pages in. I have no idea what's really going on, and oh my god, I thought he was gonna wake up. I think I'm gonna give myself until 100 pages to DNF this, but otherwise I'm really confused. Unfortunately, this one just really wasn't for me. I also wasn't really in a good headspace reading it because I hadn't enjoyed Unearthed but Briefly Gorgeous. I just did not start off with really great reads at the beginning of 2022. I have come to really love Karen Slaughter, and I know that Ellias really enjoys her books as well. This one is following 2 sisters, Claire and Lydia, who have not spoken in about 2 decades. One is a trophy wife of a millionaire, and the other is a single mother dating an ex-con. The 2 are brought back together after Claire's, the trophy wife's husband, has been brutally murdered, and they're brought back together because it brings back all this trauma of their oldest sister who went missing. I started Pretty Girls a few days ago and have not really been able to read a lot over the past few days, so I'm trying to read during my remote work, and I got to a really good part. So right now I am almost 200 pages in. I'm at page 179. I mean, there's already been a few reveals and few twists, but I feel like this one is really good because now it has been confirmed that shady shit has been going down. If you've read this, you'd know. Hopefully Ellias knows what I'm talking about if he's watching this. I mean, I knew that Karen Slaughter's books were really brutal. Like I said, this is only my third one, so I kind of knew what I was getting into, but it's still like really tough to read about stuff like this, and I'm not really sure where this is going in terms of whether or not Anna is going to be an important person to know, and if we're actually going to find out what happened to Julia. There are also journal entries from the dad that are written as letters to Julia, the missing sister. They're so sad, and I really feel for the dad, but I'm glad to see that although Lydia and... no, that's a spoiler. I finished this a few days ago, but I'm giving this 5 stars. I mean, I'm not really surprised because I've already said that I really like this author. Her book, Pieces of Her, actually became a Netflix show that I did not know about. I think it's a show as opposed to a movie, but I put that book on hold. Hopefully I will like both the book and the show. This is hands down the most brutal book I've ever read. Different in the way of A Little Life, because that was like just really heart-wrenching, but this is just brutal and gruesome and incredibly violent. It was a little bit hard to read, and I kind of just had to convince myself and repeat to myself that this is fictional, it's not real. I am happy even also with the way that this ended. Sometimes I felt like the father's journal entries were a little bit sad and unnecessary, but I feel like it really brought out Julia and humanized her instead of just showing her as this victim, and it also just kept on showing how out of all these cold cases, like, someone is still thinking of her and looking for her killer. Oh my god, I'm so happy because the first 2, it was tough. I would categorize it, I guess, as historical fiction. It's taking place in Barcelona in 1945. Post World War II, Daniel is a book dealer's son. He finds this book called The Shadow of the Wind. He can't find any other books written by this author, no matter how hard he tries, and he realizes that somebody is destroying every single copy ever written by this one author, and he has to protect the last book in its existence, and doing so opens this door into one of Barcelona's darkest secrets. This is my very first update for this book, and I have been reading this book for over a week at this point. I'm fucking struggling. Like, I definitely am not even 50% of the way through this, but I'm like really want to consider DNFing it, and it sucks because this book has been on my TBR for a few years now, and other people have recommended it. I remember the first time I decided to add it to my TBR was because Witty Novels said it was like absolutely gorgeous, and I feel like that's the type of writing that Ellias likes. I mean, with On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, and also Song of Achilles, I feel like that's the type of writing that he's drawn to. I don't want to DNF it because I have already DNF'd a book for this video. If I can finish it by the end of February, which I still have a few days, that'd be awesome, but I have like a huge amount of it left to read, and I'm like, I want to read other interesting stuff. I feel like this is putting me into a reading rut, and I don't know what to do about it. I really tried, but I'm DNFing this. Maybe I'll keep it on my shelf because I did buy it, just to like give it another try when I'm in maybe a different headspace, because I had already been in such a slump after DNFing to Paradise, which was disappointing. Like, back to back, I've DNF'd books, and I really wanted to give this another try because, like I've said, I have already DNF'd a book for this. Ellias is fucking me over. He's like fucking with my mind this month. This video is taking so fucking long to do. Is this gonna be an absolute fail? Probably. Am I still gonna keep pushing through with this video? Yes. Really sorry about this, but this was not for me, and it sucks because I looked on the reviews on Goodreads. Literally everyone that I follow and that I'm friends with has given it like 5 stars. Or 4.5 like Ellias did. Yo, fuck. Nothing about this intrigued me. Like, the mystery, boring. There wasn't anything happening with it. They would give you small little clues, but it wasn't enough for me to stay interested in finding Julian. I made it this far, and I couldn't do it. This was also really well known around booktube, but for its beautiful writing, it just wasn't working for me. But it had been on my TBR for so long, and I had finally bought it towards the end of 2021, I think. So I'm gonna actually keep this one on my shelf just to give it another try when, again, I'm in a better headspace for it. Just in case, when I feel like I'm up for it again, I'm gonna hold on to this. This is a YA standalone fantasy. So this is following Elizabeth. She has been raised in Ostermere's great libraries, protecting these books called the Magical Grimoires. They are protected underneath iron chains because sorcery is evil in this world. She wants to one day become a warden, continuing to protect these books that will help also protect their kingdom that they live in from the power that the grimoires hold. But an act of sabotage releases one of the library's most most dangerous grimoires, and Elizabeth is left having to answer for the crimes. She has to work with an actual sorcerer, her enemy, to figure out what's really going on. I started Sorcery of Thorns yesterday, and I know that it's a standalone YA, which I don't think I've ever read before. I'm a little bit confused, but that's okay. Elizabeth is escaping a situation after going with Nathaniel. I feel like that's not too spoilery. But I'm confused because the Magister is a sorcerer, but I thought sorcerers were evil. I'm about 70% of the way through with Sorcery of Thorns. I wanted to finish it yesterday, but I'm hoping that I can finish the last little bit today. It's not going great, okay? Everything is sort of surface level, and I think maybe I don't like standalone fantasies because I feel like there's so much more world building, so much more that I could know. I don't feel like any of it to immerse me into the story is there. I also don't understand the romance that's developing, like, at all. I don't feel a connection. I just don't understand any of it. The villain doesn't really seem like that much of a villain. What he's trying to do, I don't get it. I finished this the other day and I'm giving it 2 stars. The whole thing just wasn't for me. I didn't connect with any of the characters. I didn't feel like the stakes were high. There was 0 world building for me. They were talking about the good of the kingdom and I was like, what kingdom? I barely felt like I needed to reference the map in this. I lied. There was a bonus book for this one because of how awfully this went, and I had 2 DNFs. Travis has been hired by one family to find Maggie. He has this ability that allows him to pick up objects from their lives and to help them see where they were in that moment, or something like that. I explain it very terribly, but he has a special ability. And so he goes out to look for Maggie. He comes upon this reclusive commune called Pastoral. Flash forward to a few years later, Theo discovers Travis's truck abandoned, and he tries to look for Travis and figure out the mystery of why Travis was looking for Maggie. I feel like that's a good point to leave off. I agree with Ellias that kind of going into this without knowing anything at all was the best way to go. I mean, I had seen reviews, people talk about it in their vlogs and whatnot, but I didn't actually read the synopsis, and I kind of just went into it not wanting to know anything. Because I had 2 DNFs in this video, I decided to do a bonus 6th book, only for this one, because I've never had it gone so terribly before. So I'm reading A History of Wild Places by Shea Ernshaw. It's also due at the library today, but the library doesn't close till 8 o'clock. It's now 3:07 and I'm only 30 pages in. I've heard really good things about it. I know that it's a little bit like genre bending, I think. I want to go into it not really knowing what it's about so that it's not like too ruined for me. I have a little over an hour before I want to go to the library. It's 6:17 and I want to go at 7:30. I'm on page 248, so I have like about 100 pages left, and it's getting really good. There's 3 perspectives now between Travis, B, and Calla. I'm not really sure about why Travis's ability to see the past of the things that he touches. Wait, what? See the past of the person who the item he touched belongs to? What? Anyway, I don't know why Travis's ability is like super important. I get why it was a necessary addition to have like his point of view in the beginning, but I just don't know like if his ability is important or it's gonna come back as to what's happening. But the mystery of where Maggie went is definitely becoming more intriguing. Also because I don't think I've ever read a book about cults, and this, I think cults are like really messed up, but now I'm like interested in their mess. I don't understand if the pox is real or not. Was their blood actually black? Because I don't think it was. I'm confused. I guess this is the genre binding part. Wait, but then who is B? How does she connect? I liked this. I'm giving it 4 stars. I feel like we ended on a good high note. Good thing that I added an extra book because this was kind of a dumpster fire. It didn't really go well at all, but I'm glad that I enjoyed this. I get why people liked it. I believe Ellias gave it 4.5 stars, so not too bad if I say so myself. I feel like it did start off a little slow like you said, but I do believe that the payoff was worth it as well. The ending, a little bit questionable for me. Understandable, but still a little bit questionable. Cults, still bad, but a good story. for this one at least. I found the writing of this story to be really great also, because it just made you believe everything. It wasn't like obviously mysterious, if you know what I mean. He said he really liked the writing of this and he found it to be captivating as other books, but I did not really find the writing styles in the other books that he's enjoyed to be the same, because this one worked for me. I think this is the 6th video that I've done so far, but it was fun. I feel like I pushed myself in trying new books that I otherwise wouldn't have. I had been curious about reading like Ocean Vuong's writing, but I didn't think I would pick it up this soon, I guess, if it wasn't for a video like this. However, I do think that my taste with Ellias in terms of mystery thrillers do line up. I'm really glad that I still tried and attempted something like this. I still had a fun time, which is important, even though it put me in a bit of a reading slump for a while. It's fine. It's all forgiven, forgotten in the past. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what other booktubers you think that I should try for this, and I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.